Greetings and welcome back to Room 303 in our Chats with Emily, as we are calling our readings through the poetry of Emily Dickinson. We are in the Johnson edition. We turn now to poem 648, Promise This When You Be Dying. Of course, it's interesting syntax right from the start. In many ways, here we're back to poem 622. You guys will remember this one. To know just how he suffered would be dear. To know if any human eyes were near to whom he could entrust his wavering gaze until it settled broad on paradise. To know if he was patient, part content, was dying as he thought, or different. Was it a pleasant day to die, and did the sunshine face his way? What was his furthest mind, of home, God, or what the distance say? At news that he ceased human nature such a day. And wishes, had he any? Just his sigh accented had been legible to me. And was he confident until ill fluttered out in everlasting well? And if he spoke, what name was best? What last? What one broke off with at the drowsiest? Was he afraid or tranquil? Might he know how consciousness could grow till love that was and love too best to be meet, and the junction be eternity? Or you'll remember when we did 577. You guys will remember this one as well. If I may have it when it's dead, I'll be contented so. If just as soon as breath is out, it shall belong to me. Until they lock it in the grave, 'tis bliss I cannot weigh. For though they lock thee in the grave, myself can own the key. Think of it, lover, I and thee, permitted face to face to be after a life, a death, will say for death was that, and this is thee. I'll tell thee all, how bald it grew, how midnight felt at first to me, and how all the clocks stopped in the world and sunshine pinched me. 'Twas so cold. Then how the grief got sleepy some, as if my soul were deaf and dumb, just making signs across to thee, that this way thou couldst notice me. I'll tell you how I tried to keep a smile to show you when this deep all waited, we look back for play at those old times in Calvary. Forgive me if the grave comes slow, for coveting to look at thee. Forgive me if to stroke thy frost out visions paradise. Now, our assumption here with this death poem and a longing to somehow be present, this idea is a very ancient one. And we know that many religious traditions pay very close attention to what happens at passing, trying to figure out what the death situation actually is. Our assumptions are that you've been following our stuff at LearnStrong.net, down that left-hand side, Chats with Emily, that playlist. I'm hopeful you worked through our set of introductory comments in the preceding 647 poems. We just finished with 647, A Little Road. Now, one of the things I want you to focus on in this poem is the use of the word mine, M-I-N-E. 6 different times she'll make this a very personal poem. Promise this when you be dying. Some shall summon me. Mine belong your latest sign. Mine to belt your eye. Not with coins, though they be minted from an emperor's hand. Be my lips the only buckle your low eyes demand. Mine to stay when all have wandered to devise once more. If the life be too surrendered, life of mine restore. Poured like this, my whole libation, just that you could see. Bliss of death, life's bliss extol through imitating you. Mine to guard your narrow precinct, to seduce the sun, longest on your south to linger, largest dews of morn. To demand in your low favor, lest the jealous grass greener lean, or fonder cluster round some other face. Mine to supplicate Madonna, if Madonna be, could behold so fair a creature. Christ omitted me, just to follow your dear feature, ne'er so far behind. For my heaven, had I not been most enough denied. Now, again, we're back to the previous poem in 647, when the one thing she says about the carousel, the carriage going to heaven, was that it was not bearing her. Here we'll play a very similar game. Notice it begins with a promise. Now, who she's speaking to in this poem, like so many of these poems, we have no idea. Is it the master? Is it Sam Boyles? Is it Wadsworth? Who is it? Is it Sue? I mean, we just don't know. The one request she makes, though, is she wants to be there when the individual passes. When you be dying, someone's going to summon me. And then the mines. Mine belong your latest sighing. I think the word belong here is a key word. Mine to belt your eye, but not with coins, right? In other words, when one passes. Though they be mented from an emperor's hand, be my lips. In other words, she says, I want to be there so I can kiss your eyes as they close for the last time. The only buckle, it's an interesting word, the only buckle your low eyes demand. Notice we'll go from eyes to seeing. Mine to stay, when all have wandered to devise once more, if the life be too surrendered, life of mine restore. For the life of mine restored is really the language here that she's saying. In other words, after everyone else leaves, I'll still be sitting by your side to be there with you. And then she uses the language of the libation that one pours in the Greek tradition for the passing. We think, of course, of Achilles losing his Patroclus in our study of the Iliad. Poured like this, my whole libation, just that you could see. Bliss of death, life's bliss extolled through imitating. Notice it's not thee, it's you. It's fascinating that she didn't rhyme. Bliss of death will take us back, of course, to our study of 646. And then she'll finish. Mine to guard your narrow precinct, of course, the grave, right? Think about that poem, we do not play on graves. Mine to guard your narrow precinct, to seduce the sun. You're hearing all these S sounds. Longest on your south to linger, largest dews of morn. In other words, I'm gonna stay there by your side. To demand in your low favor, low as in the ground, right? Lest the jealous grass, and here, it's as if she's channeling her contemporary Walt Whitman in Leaves of Grass. We've given full lectures of all the poems of Leaves of Grass at learnstrong.net. We call that series Talks with Walt. Green or lean. Remember, he even says, I lean and loathe, Or fonder cluster round some other face. In other words, I'm going to stick by your side, even if the angels don't even give you time of day. Mine to supplicate Madonna, a key word here, right, in her use of this. If Madonna be, could behold so far a creature. Here, of course, Emily the infidel again. Christ omitted me. Again, we're back to 647, no curse will bear me. Just to follow your dear features, so we're back to the facial recognitions. Ne'er so far behind, for my heaven, had I not been most enough denied. In other words, denied his presence in real life. It seems as if maybe she's saying that. I told you guys, 135 of her poems, she references heaven. It's ubiquitous in her poetry. I think the message here is that it's really hard to imagine losing your pal, the one you're closest to. At 2b, well, obviously the question is, who is the you of the poem? At 3a, when we get to poem 734, we're going to come back to this study one more time. This is the way that poem reads. If he were living, dare I ask, and how if he be dead? And so around the words I went of meeting them, afraid, I hinted changes, lapse of time, the surfaces of years. I touched with caution lest they crack and show me to my fears. Reverted to adjoining lives, adroitly turning out wherever I suspected graves. 'Twas prudenter, I thought, and he, I pushed with sudden force in face of the suspense, was buried. He, my life, just holds the trench. Notice we'll go from the narrow precincts to the trench. Finally, at 3b, when was a time that you thought about losing your best pal? And if you had to, would you want to be there with them at their passing? Thank you.